Okay, we're here now with Nathan and Megan Ridley. We're underneath the solar system, actually, and Pluto is still up there, I think, or at least the last time I looked it was. Now, Nathan, tell me, what do you think of Pluto being downgraded?
I think it should not be downgraded because I like the planet a lot, and it's one of my favorite planets.
Hey everybody, welcome to Studio 64. My name's David. I've been searching the interzones for more science, space and tech news to share with you. Came across this at Metro. This should be entertaining. Why is Pluto no longer a planet? Oh, yes. I was very sad when that happened. 2006. And poor old Pluto. Terrible. Let's see what this is. This should be very interesting. Now, in the time Pluto was found, classified as a planet and reclassified as a dwarf planet, it has not completed one orbit. Oh, poor thing. 1 year on the distant ice planet is 248 Earth years, and 1 day is around 153 Earth hours. Now known as a dwarf planet, the complex and mysterious world is abundant with mountains, valleys, plains, craters, and glaciers. Yes, sounds like my complexion. As usual, I'll leave the link to the main article below the video so you can pop in, check out the embedded links, go for a bit of a deeper dive if you want. Makes for an interesting read beyond the main article. Very interesting. And yet, it was stripped of its planetary title. Why? All right, well, when was Pluto discovered? Now, when Pluto was discovered in 1930, it was long considered as the solar system's 9th planet. Each of the planets in the solar system, with the exception of Earth, have been named after Roman and Greek gods and goddesses. When Pluto was discovered, it was named after the god of the underworld in Roman mythology. Now, the dwarf planet was discovered by US astronomer Clyde Tombaugh, who was using the Lowell Observatory in Arizona. Yes, absolutely amazing. Yes, how would you feel if poor old Clyde, if he was around now, he'd go, that's disappointing. You know, lifetime's worth of work, and yeah, poor bugger. In the decades after its discovery, however, astronomers began to wonder whether Pluto might be the first object to have been spotted as part of a population of small icy bodies beyond the orbit of Neptune. Yes, and there's an image of Pluto's looks pretty barren type surface. Very interesting. Again, as I say, I've said in previous videos, I'm not a scientist myself. I just love all science, space, and tech news. And Pluto happens to be one of my favorite astronomy subjects. I quite like Pluto. All right, so what's the controversy behind Pluto's planetary status? So after the discovery of similar worlds deeper within the Kuiper Belt, which is a donut-shaped region of icy objects beyond Neptune, Pluto was reclassified as a dwarf planet in 2006. Yes, a dwarf planet is a celestial body in direct orbit of the Sun that is massive enough in its shape, is not controlled by gravitational forces, but has not cleared its path. More on that later. And speaking of that later, we have a little video here for you. And we'll check this out, and we'll carry on the conversation when we come out the other side. This is from Canadian television back in the day in 2006, when poor old Pluto got demoted.
Well, it seems there's a space controversy brewing over the decision to downgrade Pluto. Some scientists have started a petition to get Pluto reinstated as a full-fledged planet. We wanted to get the reaction of stargazers here. We took our camera to the Johnson Geo Center in St. John's. As visitors to the building know, the Geo Center is home to the largest model of the solar system in the province. What plans do they have for their Pluto? And what do some of these GeoCenter planet watchers think about this latest news? Okay, we're here now with Nathan and Megan Ridley. We're underneath the solar system, actually, and Pluto is still up there, I think, or at least the last time I looked it was. Now, Nathan, tell me, what do you think of Pluto being downgraded?
I think it should not be downgraded because I like the planet a lot, and it's one of my favorite planets.
Why is Pluto so popular with you?
Because I like the dog Pluto for a show.
Oh, from the cartoons. Yeah, Mickey Mouse and Pluto.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like the name Pluto.
Yeah.
Do you know it's been downgraded to a dwarf planet?
Yep.
So you don't like that idea?
No.
So do you think that they should still keep it up here with the solar system?
Yes.
Okay. Megan, what do you think about Pluto being downgraded?
I think that the Pluto should go downgraded.
Do you like it? Do you like looking at it up there above your head? It's the little one. Do you know which one it is?
Well, I don't really know, but I think it's that one right there.
No, sweetie, it's not. No, it's back behind you. It's even smaller than that one, which is actually why they're downgrading it, because it's so small. Do you think it's big enough to be a planet, though, Nathan?
Well, all of them are really big, and then it's the last biggest, but it is pretty small.
You know, they've added 3 more dwarf planets as well.
What ones are they?
Ceres, Charon, and one called 2003 UB313.
I never heard of them.
I think maybe they should come up with a new name for the last one, don't you?
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you. Now we're actually going to find out from Paul Dean here at the Geo Center what you're going to do with Pluto. Are you going to keep it up there or what?
Well, for now, Carl, yes, we are. We think it is a dwarf planet, and it is part of one of those objects that does go around the sun, so it is part of the solar system. And astronomers tell us that they are likely to discover more of these kinds of objects. So we think for teaching purposes and for talking to people like Nathan, there's a bit of history here. It was once a planet. It's no longer a full planet. But we think is illustrating the dwarf planets. It would be good to have an object in the Geocenter that would illustrate what a dwarf planet looks like.
Great. Okay, so Pluto stays up there, but obviously you're going to have to change your storyboard.
We are going to have to change the storyboard. There's no question about that. Yeah. And our storyboards currently say there is always controversy about Pluto, whether it should have been a planet first when it was designated so in 1930. And so we tell that story. But for people who come to visit, like Nathan, or people who come as part of school classes, we will be changing our story to say there is now a new category of planets, and the best illustration is Pluto.
Okay, well, you've heard it from the man, folks. Pluto stays, at least as far as the solar system display here at the Geo Center is concerned. And I want to thank my guests for talking with me today.
Well, that was interesting, wasn't it? Yeah, seeing it from another point of view, and especially seeing it from the kids' point of view. I love the fact that they liked the planet Pluto because it reminded them of Pluto from the Disney movies. I thought Pluto was always pretty cool. Yeah. I wasn't a big fan of Mickey Mouse, but I was a fan of Pluto. I was a fan of Donald Duck other than Mickey Mouse. Even now, it's quite fascinating how these characters stick with you. As more and more Kuiper Belt objects, or KBO, were discovered, Pluto's planetary status was questioned even further. Astronomers found other KBOs with a similar mass to Pluto, such as that's interesting. Discovered in 2002, Sedna in 2003, and Eris in 2005. In fact, Eris in particular appeared to be larger than Pluto, giving rise to its formal designation as the solar system's 10th planet. Pluto's moons. Yes, this will be interesting. Although not a planet, Pluto does have enough gravitational power to have 5 known moons. That's interesting. Sounds like a contradiction, doesn't it, really? These are Charon, the biggest of the 5 moons. It is around half the size of Pluto, making it the largest satellite relative to the planet it orbits in our solar system. It orbits Pluto at a distance of just 12,200 miles, or 19,640 kilometers. For context, our moon is 20 times farther away from the Earth. Pluto and Charon are often referred to as a double planet. That's interesting. Yeah, I love learning little things like that about space. I think it's amazing. Nix. This small moon is the inner of the 2 moons discovered orbiting Pluto in 2005. Hydra. And there is the outer moon discovered orbiting Pluto in 2005. Kerberos. This moon was discovered in 2011 using the Hubble Space Telescope. And Styx. the last moon discovered. It is the second closest known satellite to Pluto. Yes, good old Styx, I'm assuming, would be named after not the band from the 70s and 80s, but I'd say the River Styx, the one that you have to pay the ferryman from the Christa Berg song from about 1983, and you cross that to get to hell. And it always made me laugh that near one of my old Catholic high schools, we had to cross a bridge to get to the school, and I always found it ironic that we had to cross Styx Creek in order to get to a Catholic school. Fascinating. Now, what does the International Astronomical Union class as a planet? Now, this led to the International Astronomical Union, IAU, to set up a committee tasked with defining just what constituted a planet. Now, at first, the idea was to up the number of planets in the solar system to 12, seeing Pluto and its moon Charon recognised as a twin planet. Now, Ceres and Aries would also be granted entry into the planetary club, but this was met with opposition. And on August the 24th, 2006, the committee outlined a resolution for naming a planet. Now, these are, it is in orbit around the sun. It has sufficient mass for its gravity to overcome rigid body forces, so it assumes a hydrostatic equilibrium, or nearly round shape, and it has cleared the neighbourhood around its orbit. Yes, August the 24th, a very auspicious day, yes. 11 years before, that's when Microsoft Windows 95 was released. Yes. Fascinating. 24th of August seems to be a day where all these controversies pop up, because Windows 95 was a piece of crap, but Pluto isn't. Fascinating. Yes, and this is an image from the New Horizons space probe from 2015. Just a little bit of trivia for you. One of the consulting scientists on that New Horizons probe in 2015 was a gentleman by the name of Sir Dr. Brian May. Now, Dr. Sir Brian May? I don't know how it works. He is not only a rock god, but a nerd god, as well as being a peer or knight of the British realm. Yes, Brian May was, still is, I believe, the lead guitarist of the rock band Queen, so Bohemian Rhapsody and all that sort of stuff. And he has a PhD in astrophysics, thusly the connection to Pluto. And of course, he got a knighthood for his contributions to British music. And it's interesting. It proves that he gave up his studies in astrophysics when the band Queen took off with their Night at the Opera album with Bohemian Rhapsody in 1974. And then at the age of 61 went back and got his PhD. So it proves it's never too late to educate yourself, yes. Unfortunately, Pluto only meets two of these criteria and loses out on a third. This means that Pluto was not a planet, but a dwarf planet. Now, in our solar system, there are 5 dwarf planets: Ceres, Haumea, Makemake, or Makey, Eris, and of course Pluto. See, I can't even pronounce their names. That's how much of a scientist I am. So what does that mean to clear out its neighbourhood? Now, this basically means that the planet has vacuumed up or rejected other large objects in space. So the IAU downgraded the planet to a dwarf as it shares its neighbourhood with other KBOs. Now, Professor Beth Miller, personal chair of exoplanet characterisation from the University of Edinburgh, put it very succinctly and told Metro, Pluto got reclassified because it turns out there are a lot of small Pluto-like things that formed in a somewhat different way than the 8 major planets in our solar system. However, this definition of a planet does not seem to please everyone. Earth, which is designated as a planet, shares its cosmic turf with 12,000 near-Earth asteroids, while 100,000 Trojan asteroids lie within Jupiter's orbit. So it could be argued that both Jupiter and Earth also fail the IAU definition of a planet. That's interesting, isn't it? That's really interesting. Now, does sunlight reach Pluto? Now, Pluto was around 39 times farther away from the sun than Earth. From this distance, it takes sunlight 5.5 hours to travel from the sun to Pluto, but it isn't completely dark. If you were to stand on the surface of Pluto at noon, the sun would be 1/900th the brightness it is here on Earth. There is a moment each day near sunset here on Earth where the light is the same brightness as midday on Pluto. Now, since it is so far from the sun, the temperature on Pluto could be as cold as minus 226 degrees to minus 240 degrees Celsius, or minus 375 to minus 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, that is very interesting because we're always taught a planet has to be in the Goldilocks zone if there was ever to be any life on it. And that's, where Earth is, not too far, not too close, like Goldilocks and the porridge, not too hot, not too cold. Now, of course, if you look at some of the videos I've put up in this channel, we found that there could be life in the oceans of some of these moons that are floating around planets like Uranus, simply because of the fact that because of the gravitational pull on the planet, on its host planet, it can generate internal heat, and the water could be warmed enough to be liquid. And keep the temperatures quite balmy. It's actually very interesting. So the definition of where life could exist has changed, and this is why looking at Pluto was so important, because it's going to be interesting to see what if we can learn more about the makeup of Pluto. So even though it looks like in this picture here, like a barren world, who knows what's underneath it? It'd be quite fascinating, actually. Fascinating stuff. All right, well, my name is David. Thanks for joining me for another Studio 64 Science, Space and Tech News update. I shall see you in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you're up for it, drop a comment down below the video, because I'd love to hear what you think. All right, take care, and as I always say, if you can't be good at it. And as I also always say...
Please, Spock, do me a favor, and don't say it's fascinating. No. But it is interesting.
5,